my name is Litia and I'm from the beautiful island of Laos and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Casey, I'm from Tabua. We love Today FM in Tabua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selina, I'm from Tawengabengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Pula, my name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in Today FM, in Malak Island. Today FM rock.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news, asbestos warning not heeded by many. PM disappointed as Trump pulls out of Paris Agreement. And cane farmers told to think of long-term solutions.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
Despite numerous warnings from authorities on the danger of asbestos present in downtown Suva, many people continue to nonchalantly move around the Civic Centre area today. FBC News took precautions and visited the asbestos red zone area, and surprisingly, it seems to be a normal business day for hundreds. Sanyani Boiler reports.
With the high concentration of asbestos at the Suva Civic Centre demolition, people are still frequenting the area, unaware of the potentially dangerous circumstances.
And advise that people surround this area because some people just get nothing, haven't got any masks, and you just mark around the road in the streets.
The Labour Ministry says a SPREP or Secretariat of the Pacific Regional Environment Programme report states there's 30% asbestos in the bulk material tested. However, it's not airborne. The Ministry, as a precaution, has marked a red zone area and has also labelled the red zone area 500 meters around the site. Security Officer Mesaki Tambua claims thousands of people have been exposed to asbestos during the uncontrolled work around the site over the last 2 weeks.
Risk to the people of Suva, but because it's a chemical, it's like a chemical, it can affect the lungs or personal or human well-being. Oh, it affects the oxygen we breathe in here. Here in Skura Park, I feel before this very fresh air and all the fresh air and all the. Now, I can't even breathe, and I have to just wait from here and go and get my pay and to run away from Suva.
2 banks closed for days. Some business took precautionary measures to safeguard their staff.
In the zone, as a responsible organization, we took into account the asbestos contamination. We also took into account the UN assessment report, considering that we were sitting right on the border. Despite that, we are keeping everyone indoors and providing masks to staff if going outdoors.
But while some have taken care, others are completely oblivious to warnings that were issued by the authorities 4 days ago. Meanwhile, the Suva City Council has sealed off all the building openings at the Civic Centre. Members of the public have been asked to refrain from travelling in and around the area. Sainiani Mboila, FBC News.
Meanwhile, Employment Minister Choneo Sumate says there is no directive for the closure of any schools, business houses or any other public buildings. He says the Suva Civic Centre has been properly sealed off and building material containing asbestos that was removed has been safely stored. Osumate says it is highly unlikely that any member of the public was affected by this incident and the likelihood of any air contamination remains slim to none. The minister says with the exception of the Suva Civic Centre and the immediate vicinity of the Town Hall Road entrance, there is no restriction of movement in place. The safe removal of the remainder of the asbestos will begin on Monday under the strict supervision of the Ministry of Employment and certified consultants from Contract Environmental, a New Zealand-based firm that specialises in asbestos remediation. Prime Minister and incoming COP23 President Vorenge Bainimarama has expressed disappointment with Donald Trump's decision to withdraw from the Paris Agreement. Releasing a statement minutes after Trump announced that the U.S. will quit the climate change accord, Bainimarama said that while the loss of America's leadership is unfortunate, this is a struggle that is far from over. Maggie Boyle reports.
An avalanche of disappointment. News that the United States has chosen to withdraw from the 2015 global agreement. Bani Muramat says while this is immensely disappointing for citizens of vulnerable nations throughout the world, it is also a grave disappointment for millions of people living in those areas of the United States threatened by the effects of climate change. He goes on to say, and I quote, "As incoming president of COP23, I did what I could, along with many leaders around the world, to try to persuade President Trump to remain standing shoulder to shoulder with us, as together we tackle the greatest challenge our planet has ever faced." Unquote. The PM adamant that while the loss of America's leadership is unfortunate, this is a struggle that is far from over. Bani Muramat says solving the climate crisis through cooperation, innovation, new technologies and improved access to capital around the world will create real, sustainable economic growth for those who have the vision to make this moment of challenge a moment of opportunity. Despite the US backing out of the deal, Bani Muramat says the rest of the world remains fully committed to the implementation of the Paris Agreement.
The PM reaffirming that he would do everything that is possible to forge ahead with a grand coalition, embracing government, the private sector and civil society, as well as millions of ordinary women and men around the world. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Meanwhile, Tuvalu has also come out strong in opposing America's withdrawal from the Paris Agreement. Prime Minister Enele Sopoaga told FBC News they're disappointed with the outcome. However, the buck doesn't stop here as nations need to keep moving forward. Akusita Tale has more on this.
Tuvaluan leader Enele Sopoaga says America has made its stand on the Paris Agreement, but that does not stop other countries from moving forward.
We thought that we were with the people of America. I mean, they were here in the Second World War. We provided our islands as launching pad for their objectives, for achieving their objectives. But now we are facing the biggest war of our time. They are abandoning us. And I think it is really an act of abandoning the small island countries.
Sopoaga says Tuvalu will continue to work with Fiji and other Pacific Island countries in the fight against climate change.
I think we need to work to get some more. And this is not the end. I think the global community and those who are suffering, like our small islands, must continue to work together and ask for them to fully realize their responsibilities.
Sopoaga was in the country to launch a documentary linking the islands, early warning systems in Tuvalu and Suva last night.
The early warning system will connect Tuvaluans living on those atolls and islands through appropriate communication means. In developing this system, the project designs had identified weaknesses in the existing modes of communication and addressed these susceptible to extreme weather.
Prime Minister Enele Sopoaga, together with his Fijian counterpart Vorenge Bainimarama, will fly out of the country this evening to be part of the Oceans Conference in New York next week. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
Cane farmers need to see the long-term solutions provided by government and not fall into the trap of politics. Economy Minister Ayaz Said Qayyum says the sugar industry needs to be depoliticized in order to make room for growth. Shireen Shivan reports.
The sugarcane farmers in Lambasa have been told to change their mentality towards the industry.
People are saying that the government will not be assisting the North farmers through the grant, but it's wrong. Out of the 10 million, 6.6 is going to the farmers who had deduction from the fourth cane payment, and 3.3 million went to the people of Lambasa.
Speaking at a Grawa Talanua session, Syed Qayyum said he is aware of the protest by some cane farmers last week. He assured the farmers that the $10 million grant given by the government will benefit them all.
My great-grandparents have been doing cane farming and never ever did we thought our lease will expire. We were overconfident, but now we get only 30 years lease.
They have no light, they need everything. And they need water. Some of the farmers, they say, if no light, we no more stay in our sugarcane farm. Because nowadays, everything is changed. Farmers too, they want to sit down and have a laptop too.
Meanwhile, the Fiji Sugar Corporation is working closely with all farmers to increase sugar yield. The FSC says farmers need to take ownership of the industry. Shireen Shivan, FBC News.
Still to come, RFMF recruits trained in disaster recovery. And man charged with unlawful possession of illicit drugs. Details after the break.
Nimbula vinaka na yavangunga andi moala radada ranalika au tikongona taunu singatoka ando talisaka na vagaronga na Mbula FM number 2 na sere.
Ya dora chubuli kurna bili. Iborani batukara hambara binanga. Do talitakina na vagaronga na Mbula FM number 2 na sere.
Bula FM number 2 na sere.
A woman died following an accident in Nasinu this morning. The incident occurred at the junction of Ratundovi Road and Reba Circle at around 8 a.m. Police say the 56-year-old woman was allegedly hit by a vehicle driven by another woman. The accident victim was conveyed to CWM Hospital by the suspect and was pronounced dead. The driver is currently being questioned at the Valilevu police station. More manpower for the Fiji military forces as 124 men joined the force. Their military preparation included actions to be taken following a natural disaster.
These new recruits have been reminded to believe in themselves and serve the nation.
3 months ago, you entered the military school with no knowledge of what's in front of you. You don't know what's the life in the military. Today you marched with confidence. You stand by to serve on behalf of Fiji. No one knows when will you need to apply the things you have learned to protect the citizens of Fiji.
All-rounder recruit award winner Chichi Otawake says he feels blessed to serve in the military.
So all I could say it was just my sacrifice that made me get this award. So what I could say, I just want to thank my family.
The new recruits went through an intensive military training 3 months ago. They have also undertaken a field engineering training, a new course introduced by the Fiji military to equip soldiers to carry out rehabilitation work following a natural disaster. Propata Valeme, FBC News.
A 44-year-old man from Raiwanga charged with unlawful possession of illicit drugs appeared in the magistrate's court today. It is alleged that on the 27th of April this year, Jabbar Ali possessed 0.15 grams of methamphetamine. Ali has been remanded in custody and will be produced in court again on June 15th. Meanwhile, his wife Mosmin Khan is charged with obstructing a police officer in due execution of his duties and has also been remanded. She will be reproduced in court on Monday. Fiji's rehabilitation programs in agriculture are expected to receive a major boost following an agreement between the government and the Japan International Cooperation System. This is part of the ongoing assistance by the Japanese government for Tropical Cyclone Winston rehabilitation and recovery. The Japanese government provided $5.8 million assistance last year and are now providing another $1.8 million.
We are going to use these funds to buy excavators, tractors, and also some chainsaws for the outer islands, whereby these fallen trees that we have, the chainsaws will be used to rip these logs into timber so that people can construct their homes.
The public needs to remember that senior citizens still play a vital role in developing our society. Minister for Women Meriseni Vuniwanga says in many old age homes, the elderly have to survive on their own. Kelly Vavala reports.
Many old age homes request assistance to help patrons live comfortably. The senior citizens in the Mba Community Center asked for sewing machines.
Not often that I get requests for equipment that from senior citizens for the purpose of creating things. It strengthens the message that we try and pass on to our children whenever we speak on about taking care of elderly persons.
Some senior citizens say the new machines will help them engage in activities that could generate income.
We'll do more sewing. There's some professional tailors with us, and we might get a trainer also. And if they learn it here, they're gonna go and do some income generating.
Thank you for machine. Now machine is in senior center, and I see machine is very happy.
Minister Vuniwanga says these senior citizens have set a good example to other old age homes around the country, and that you're never too old to try and earn a living. Winiwanka is urging the public to always think about their elderly. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
The Fiji Police Force has boosted its forensic capability following the accreditation of 7 officers accredited to be called fingerprint specialists after 3 weeks of training. Police Commissioner Brigadier General Sitiveni Ngilio says the accreditation was timely as it gives them the ability to conduct fingerprint identification under pressure and deal with rigorous questioning in a realistic courtroom. The course was facilitated by the Australian Federal Police in conjunction with the Pacific Police Regional Development Program and the Pacific Islands Forensic Accreditation. Ahead in sports with Jamie, Flying Fijians seek national blessing, but joining us next is Akosita with business.
Thanks, Jackie. Good evening. Coming up in business tonight, Eagle Boys expands business. And in growing Fiji, new guidelines to help organic farming. Stay with us.
I'm another of whenever I want to tune in to listen to great music, I always tune in to my favorite radio station, Gold FM, only the classic.
My name is Lita. We love listening to Gold FM here at the Fiji Hideaway Resort and Spa. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
We here at Tano Waterfront Lautoka love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Leading our business tonight, Eagle Boys Pizza has now opened its second branch at My FNPF Plaza in Suva. Operator Tanuj Patel says it cost him around $500,000 for the setup and says 18 people are employed in the new branch. Patel decided to import the franchise to when he moved to Fiji from Australia in 2014.
It's going to be a lot different to our Dhamma the City shop. We've got a lot more food offerings and products that we're going to start to slowly introduce within the next few months. So a lot of that is not available in Dhamma the City, and then we'll see how it goes here, and then we'll try and replicate that over that side.
Savanatha now joins us from the HFC Bank with the very latest on the currencies market.
Vinaka, looking at the performance of the 3 major currencies of which our Fijian dollar is pegged against, on a 5-working day moving average, the US dollar weakened by a point this week from last week to stand at 0.4702. The Australian dollar has weakened by 35 points to stand at 0.6308, and the New Zealand dollar has followed suit by 64 points to stand at 0.6662 respectively. Looking at some potential market moving news this weekend, overnight we have the US unemployment rate figures, which is expected to stay at 4.4%. Coupled with this, they have their non-farm payroll for the month of May, expected to decrease from 211,000 to 185,000. We shall await next Monday to see the effects these 2 data will have on the foreign exchange market, if any. That's it from me this week, Vinaka.
Thanks for the update. Looking at today's exchange rates, the Fijian dollar weakened against the Chinese yuan and American dollar closing at 3.19 and 46 cents. And as for the regional currencies, the Australian dollar rose closing at 63 cents, while the New Zealand dollar also rose closing at 65 cents. The PNG Kina was down at 1.3. Looking at commodities market, oil prices continues its downward trend, closing at $48.78 a barrel. Gold dropped to close at $1,265 an ounce. And silver prices dropped, closing at $17.28 an ounce. And in Growing Fiji tonight, the country's first comprehensive guide on tried and tested methods of naturally managing crop pests has been published. The leaflet is called Organic Simplified and is compiled by Friend Fiji. Executive Director Sashi Kiran says it is aimed at reducing the use of harmful chemicals in farming. Also launched was the Friend Participatory Guarantee System Guidelines. This is an in-house manual to assist farmers implement organic certification of their farms and products. Both were produced in partnership with the UNDP, SDG Fund, Pacific Organic and Ethical Trade Community, and SPC.
We are hoping that these will be alternatives we'll try. They're not expensive, it saves money, it saves our soul, and it saves our health. We'd like to load it online so anybody in the world can access it and try it, because we want people to have alternatives to chemicals, because the top 3 killers in Fiji are affected by the chemicals that we eat in our food.
That's business this evening. Now to sports. Here's Jamie with the latest.
Panaka Kasita and good evening. Coming up, flying Fijians prepare for battle. And Fiji football players confident in new structure. This and more after the break.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकु रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ। मिर्ची एफएम इज नंबर 1। इट्स सो हॉट।
हम लोग बार टाउन के केरिया ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट।
हाय, मैं संध्या नारियल रेफ्रिकी से मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट। आई लव मिर्ची एफएम।
हमें स्पिन तो ताबुआ के मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे।
मिर्ची एफएम इट्स हॉट।
Vodafone flying Fijian forward Campisi Maafu believes if they execute their set pieces well and play to their game plan, there'll be positive results against the Wallabies in their first June test next week. The two teams last met in pool play of the 2015 World Cup, where Fiji went down 28-13. Meli Tavanga has more.
Competition among the forwards in the team is intense as these players are trying to make it to the final team.
With the more experienced lads in the pack, but I think it's a good challenge for them and the former players, the current squad as well, so should be good competition up front.
Campisi Maafu says they are working on their strategy and trying to improve their set pieces.
I think if we get our strategy right and whatever we have in plan for them, I think we'll do well, and I think it's just a matter of perseverance.
28-year-old scrum half Nicola Matawalu says donning the white jersey comes with huge tasks.
You need to work hard. So that's my mentality of when I start to be flying Fijian, still on that point. Still working hard. And every day too is a learning lesson.
The team will depart on Sunday and will have a week-long training in Melbourne before they take on Australia next Saturday. Meli Tabanga, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, the Flying Fijians presented its itatau to President Major General retired Chochi Konrote today. The team departs for Australia on Sunday and will play the Wallabies next Saturday in Melbourne. The President reminded the players of the responsibilities they carry as national reps.
It has become synonymous with Fiji. It has grown to become our main sport. Initially, the growth was largely subconscious because of a warrior nation. Our ancestors have always welcomed battles. The psyche has now transformed to our love of competition, and we definitely love winning.
The Naita Siri rugby side will need a win this weekend if they are to maintain the top spot in the Skipper Cup competition. The Highlanders' winning run came to an end last weekend after suffering a 22-16 defeat at the hands of Nanruga. They play an informed Suva team this week. The match kicks off at 3 p.m. tomorrow at ANZ Stadium, the capital. Players in the Vodafone Fiji football side are positive about Christophe Gamel's new game structure ahead of the World Cup qualifier against New Caledonia. Goalkeeper Simeone Tamnisau says they've learned a lot in the last 4 months and hope to execute it well in Lautoka next week. Mary Tavanga reports.
The Rewa goalkeeper says they are adapting well with the new game plan.
Well, it's a different style of play and it helps us to have confidence in having the ball at the back. And most of all, trying to play from the back, moving forward.
Tamanisau says they'll be going in as underdogs for the qualifier match.
And we're looking forward to New Caledonia's game. All due respect to the team, well prepared, and come game time, we'll give it our best.
Coach Gomel is keeping his eyes on the players as they draw closer to game day.
Like that, I have a good point of view of all and how they react at the training, what we can do for them in the future, the weak point and the strength.
Fiji takes on New Caledonia at 4 p.m. next Wednesday at Lautaka's Churchill Park. Meli Tawanga, FBC Sports.
Fiji tennis star William O'Connell is in critical condition in a hospital in the United Kingdom. The 24-year-old was rescued after a fire engulfed his student accommodation yesterday evening. The Lautoka-born left-hander represented Fiji at the Pacific Games and Oceania in the Davis Cup in 2013 and 2016. The England cricket team defeated Bangladesh by 8 wickets at the ICC Championships last night. Bangladesh batted first and scored 305 runs at the loss of 6 wickets in 50 overs. In reply, England reached the target in 472 overs at the loss of 2 wickets. Here are the match highlights.
Derry gets it. The single to get 100. His second 100 against England.
Will be a wide. Should be a wide. No, given it as a bye. Maybe because he turned round and ended up left-handed. But a very good end to the innings from England, and Plunkett in particular. A
good way to finish an emphatic opening win for England. Joe Root and the captain Owen Morgan combining in a partnership of 143 after the early dismissal of Jason Roy.
That's it from sports this evening. Angie joins you later on with weather, and in new media tonight, Skype gets Snapchat-style makeover. Details after the break.
Bula, keron mai singatoka, keron do talita kana varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Kombinasyon ko lang do talita kana Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Kaya ko sila tale, nagurara may nawamanyi, nandunga. Gitu talita gini ang gitu Venezuela, nagudurong varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti na bonga ni BNN.
In new media, Snapchat-style video stories and stickers have been integrated into Skype as part of a revamp of the app. The new app is being rolled out gradually worldwide. Weather time now with Angie.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. It's Friday. The much-awaited day is here, but today's weather was somewhat confused. It was mostly like sun and rain were playing hide and seek. So clouds came by and covered for both of them. Looking at today in the west, it was partly cloudy with a little patchy rain possible for tonight. Eastwards from Peck Harbour to Suva, the skies were covered with rain clouds but to no sign of any rain. And up in Vanuatu, conditions were a bit cloudy after morning showers. At sea, easterly winds 15 to 20 knots with moderate to rough seas. And for the tides, high tide tomorrow morning will be at 1:52 with a low tide at 8:03. Sunrise will be at 6:31. For tomorrow, as much as we'd love to do outdoor activities, I'm afraid it looks like a rainy day. Tomorrow's temps, most centers will be cool at 29 degrees. It looks like a cooler day. Looking ahead to Sunday, the showers are likely to continue, which means we're in for a wet weekend. And that, Jackie, is FBC weather for tonight.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. On Fijian Pulse today, we asked, do you know the dangers of asbestos?
Yes, because it can be spoil human life. Yeah, like the way the smell that dust would go inside the lungs could be have a big problem for them.
I believe there should be more awareness on this condition, asbestos, that should be provided for the public.
There's supposed to be awareness created over the nation, because it could lead to many diseases and other causes of life and death,
Recapping the main stories, asbestos warning not heeded by many. PM disappointed as Trump pulls out of Paris Agreement, and cane farmers told to think of long-term solutions. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question this week, we are asking, are certain politicians taking advantage of sugarcane farmers for their own gain? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, today's shot of the day was sent in by Graham Stageman of Lami. The image was taken at the Suva foreshore. It's not how we usually portray this view, but with the present talk of caring for our environment, it shows how we are also damaging it visually. Send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us by Facebook page FBC News, or you can also send us your tips. FBC_News, #FBC. That was your FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Bye for now.
हमारा नाम संत कुमार है। हम रेडियो फीजी 2 सुनता है और ताबुआ में सबसे बेहाल रेडियो फीजी 2 है यार।
हम बिना विमलेश रकाविंदी ताबुआ से रेडियो फीजी 2 हमारा सबसे फेवरेट स्टेशन है।
हमारा नाम ब्रूस राव है, रकरेकी मार्केट वेंडा और रेडियो फीजी 2 देश के धड़कन 1954 से हम सुनता है।
हम कबूली ताबुआ रहता है। हमारा नाम है रमेश चंद और हमारी मछली के धंधा है और हम सब टाइम रेडियो फीजी 2 सुनता है।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।